Hey, it's Neil. I am excited to share beer stories, hosted by my good friends Mischa Smith and Alex Violet from Pasteur Street Brewing Company, and produced by me at 7 Million Byte Podcasts. So check out beer stories here on a Vietnam podcast. It's going to be a special pod swap, and we're going to do more of these over the coming months. There will be new episodes every week. This is for beer enthusiasts, not beer snobs. So if you love beer, you'll love this podcast. The link is in the show notes. Go and follow that if you need it, and enjoy the podcast. Cheers.
Welcome to another episode of Beer Stories. This is a podcast about beers. Our producer is Neil Mackay of 7 Million Bikes Podcast. Our theme music was composed and performed by Lewis Wright. My name is Mischa Smith. My co-host, as always, Alex Violet. How's it going, Alex?
Oh, it's going well.
Great. And our guest today is the founder, owner, and operator at Turtle Lake Brewing Company in Hanoi, Lamont Wynn. Lamont, thanks for coming down just to jump on the pod.
Thank you for having me.
Obviously, a pleasure. And today we're going to be talking about launching a craft brewery in Vietnam, because Alex and Lamont, you guys have both had the experience of opening a craft brewery from nothing in Vietnam.
You want to watch your baby grow, develop, nurture it. So I'm a constant there, Turtle Lake's evolving, I'm evolving, I'm learning as I go. And it's what I'm involved in, make sure it can be the best that it can potentially be. This is what happens right here. Pulls down his pants, whips out his dick, and pisses right on my chairs. I'm like, dude, I walk up to dude like, dude, what the fuck? Put that shit away. And he's like, leave me alone. It's okay.
Leave me alone. You're pissing on my...
So my reason for it, A, I have the space, and why the fuck not? It's my fucking business now. I can do what I want. I'm a big boy now. I want a haunted house. So I built a fucking haunted house, dude.
So just to get started, we're going to do our fastest growing segment. It's called the Hangover Check. How hungover were you this morning when you woke up?
0.
Okay. Alex?
0 or 0.5.
Yeah, same. This segment isn't going that great.
I need beer.
I had a pretty quiet night in last night. Beer's on the way, for the record. So, Lamont, let's just get into it. Like, what was the motivation behind opening a craft brewery in Vietnam? What were you doing before that?
Before that, I was teaching. I was teaching English in Vietnam, Hanoi. I was taught for 12 years. And then...
That's more than a couple.
Yeah, slight. So I had a friend who was homebrewing in China. His name was Ian. And then he came down to Hanoi with his homebrews and thought it was a really cool idea. It's like, hey, your beers are good. Let's do something in Hanoi, make a small little taproom, small little system. He's a cool idea. And then we talked about it. And then I had another friend through our daughter's school. He's like, Lamont, we should open a lounge. I'm like, could be a good idea. So the two came to my mind and said, hey, I talked to them both and said, well, we open a small little scale brewery. And that's what we did. And then we decided that we needed to go find some partners, do our research about opening a business in Vietnam. So I spoke to local restaurant owners that I knew. And then we ran into Keith. Keith, you opened a brewery. I'm interested. I went in. And so that became the four of us. Basically, opened the brewery. And then one of the partners dropped out. And then Mick Francis came in after that. It was the four of us that began Turtle Lake. And so we talked about it. We came to Pasteur. You guys the first place that we saw to check out the brewery, the one that you had hella far.
Yeah, it was a good motorbike ride. Well, what year was it that you visited the brewery?
That was in 2017. So we came to check out your facilities, and that kind of gives an idea for our place. And then basically we made a decision. Then obviously location. So we drove around Hanoi for a solid month or so, looking for locations, and then we got lucky and found the place that we're in now. So then immediately after we found that, I flew to China to start looking for equipment. And my friend Harry Callahan, he helped me out with the brewery, sourcing the equipment. We went to some cowboy breweries, some good ones, some bad ones, and we went to Jinan, where it was like near Beijing, and checked out 7, 8 manufacturers, and some of this shit. It was really bad. So we found one that we went with that suited our needs, and then we got the equipment, ordered it in July, and it arrived in December, right around Christmas. And so we built it up, had some issues, obviously. And then we did a soft opening in January, and then we did a full opening in March 2018.
So Lamont, how many beers did you guys have when you started out?
We started with 2. We started with at the time it was our First Sleep Now and our VPA. Those were the first 2 beers we started with.
Nice. Are you still making both of those?
Those were one of our two of our core brand beers. Yes.
Awesome.
So you were saying you started off with a few partners, and what was everybody's role? Were you kind of like leading the charge on the operations, or more of it just like a financial side?
I was leading the charge, and then I had my board, the guys, the partners, and then we just built it out. With every partnership, there are obstacles, a lot of obstacles. So it was a challenge. It was a challenge because this was my first business. And
wow!
And these guys are seasoned professionals already, and they're on their own right. So a lot of egos, but Turtle Lake came to be. It came to be.
Nice. What was like your craft beer background before? Okay. That's the most important experience in my opinion.
No, I like to say jokingly. It's really a joke because it's really a joke. I like to think that I'm never him, but I say I'm like Steve Jobs. I have great ideas, and I find talented people to make my dreams come true. So.
That sounds like me.
That's why you guys are both good at your jobs. You're Steve Jobs, huh? No. What was it like? Just generally, was it a lot more difficult than you were expecting, a lot easier than you were expecting, or about as difficult as you guys imagined it would be?
What, do you want the censored version, or do you want the uncensored version?
I want uncensored, obviously.
Doing business here is shit, man. There's a lot of loopholes and a lot of shit, man. Just regulations, laws, and just in general, I'm sure Alex, you can agree. It's this: you think something's this way, then it automatically just switches direction. The unanswered questions and the lack of just not knowing what's going on at all times, it's difficult.
For sure.
Yeah, I actually I haven't run into that too much because, at Getting Past Our Street Started, we always had a team of people that, were our local partners and kind of knew the lay of the land and just how to run a business in Vietnam. And that, for me, was really helpful because I could focus on the things that I knew, like brewing and restaurants and getting the beer out. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of that stuff is there, but I don't really have too much personal experience seeing that.
I was on the battlefield.
In the trenches, yeah.
That's a good point. Lamont had a lot of experience living in Vietnam before starting this. You obviously were coming brand new.
I had 0, and when getting the company started, my role wasn't the CEO; it was the brewmaster. So there was a lot of the stuff that I didn't really see. I'd see as a board member or something like above the business, but I wasn't in the weeds of the day-to-day operations with a lot of that stuff. But it sounds like you're like at Turtle Lake, you have to be like the jack of all trades. You are running the brewing. And
I have a brewer.
Kitchen? Oh, yeah. You've got a brewer, but you started brewing, right?
Working on it.
Okay. And then the kitchen.
Kitchen, yes. So, yeah, basically jack of all trades. I had to know what's going on in the kitchen, obviously. Know what's going on in the brewery, front of house, back of house. And it's a lot to contend with. Yes, I had a chef, an accountant, obviously, managers, but you're still pretty much full on because it's a small business. And so you got to know everything and what to do.
One thing that I know is very constant about Turtle Lake is I show up there, I'm going to see Lamont. It seems like you're there quite a bit. I'm, very involved in all these like day-to-day operations. And it's always fun for me to go up there and see that because it seems like you have this really clear, deep understanding of what your business is about and how it runs.
Yeah, I would like to think that. You want to watch your baby grow, develop, nurture it. So I'm constantly there, Turtle Lake's evolving. I'm evolving. I'm learning as I go. And you just want to be involved and make sure it can be the best that it can potentially be. And after COVID, we're all coming out of a COVID hole and trying to get that recognition back and let people know that you're back open and you're back. So I got to be involved.
For sure. But to that point, when you're there at night, do you feel like you're working or do you feel like you're just the host and your job is to entertain? Or are you like constantly looking at every little thing that all your staff are doing?
I'm not a micromanager. I'm more a little laissez-faire type of management style. But I'm aware. I watch. But also, I don't want to be the face of Turtle Lake, but I guess I am. So you got to host people. People are going to come see you. They want to talk to you. You're trying to create an atmosphere, a vibe in the place where people want to come back. So that's what I'm trying to do. Just create a vibe. That's okay. This is a cool, chill place to hang out. we might want to come back. The owner's kind of cool, or he's a dick, whatever. But we want to come back, Beers are good, food's good. And so just make a cool, chill place. And I do a lot of stupid events.
The vibe is awesome, and there's actually something very specific about the vibe that I get when I go to Turtle Lake, and it's that when I step in there, I feel like I could be like in a brew pub in Tennessee or in Colorado. It's just every detail of it, from like the food, the types of beers, the layout, the atmospheric, seeing the brewery equipment. It just feels like you're in the U.S. when you're in there. It's like a very immersive experience. I'd say more than any other brewery that I've been to in Vietnam, it just feels like this could be anywhere in the United States, and I wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
People feel that you could be anywhere. You just walk into an oasis, a little guard of greenery and beer. And yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah, it's cool because I know that I enjoy going to like a Japanese restaurant when I walk in and it feels like you could be in Japan, and have this awesome bowl of ramen. But I definitely, I think, get this like really full, complete American craft beer brewery taproom experience.
Thank you, but it's just me. Just me. Just trying to make a cool place.
No, sure, but so on the back of that, like obviously there are a lot of Western people working in F&B over here in Vietnam, and I feel like a lot of them do either make concessions or like try to target things towards locals, which, you need to get Vietnamese people in if you want to run a restaurant in Vietnam, obviously. But like you trying to promote that American style, was that a conscious decision that you were thinking about, or is it just naturally the way that you guys decided to run the business?
I think the business might feel American because I'm American, but really, honestly, like my clientele predominantly is 80% Asian. That'd be the local Vietnamese, Japanese, Koreans.
Do you think your Vietnamese customers appreciate that it's an authentic American experience and that you're not trying to pander and make it more Asian? And was that what you guys set out to do, or did you just kind of like, these are the bars I'm used to, so I'm just going to open a bar like this?
No, I think Turtle Lake's adaptive, basically based on our customers. And yeah, maybe in the beginning we're like, okay, expats are going to come here, it's going to be an expat bar, but that's not sustainable, especially in Hanoi. So basically we had to look at who's coming to the door, who's going to keep us around. Obviously that's the local community. And so we changed ourselves in our menu, thought about looking about shareable things like that. But also, even when we started Turtle Lake, I knew that I was in Vietnam. And so that's why a lot of my beer brandies have something to do with Vietnam, or turtles or something like that, because I'm in the country as a guest, making money. Not making money, but trying to make some money, trying to do something. So I have to get homage to where I'm at and give respect to them. So I like Turtle Lake. Obviously, I know it's a question you're about to ask me. I'll give it to you real quick. So One Kim Lake in the Old Quarter is Turtle Lake. Yeah. And when we were looking for the brewery, we found a space in One Kim that we thought we could get. It was like a really cool spot, but it turned out to be owned by the government, and that wasn't happening. So by that time, when we're trying to negotiate, trying to figure out who it was, we came up with the name for Turtle Lake in the logo. And then when we didn't get the place, everything was already set for it. So we moved to the location that we're at now. But for some legitimacy, maybe 2018, Friday night, Wing Sanity, packed, place is packed. 10 little baby turtles crawled out from the lake onto the busy terrace, and was like, this is cool. So we kept 2, threw the rest back. We lost 1, and threw the rest back. And the turtles are now my bar, so it's very auspicious for that. And so I have turtles at the bar, so I think I'm legitimate now as being a Turtle Lake.
I love it. Yeah, it's not the Turtle Lake. It's a lake with turtles.
Exactly. Now. So we threw the turtles back in, so I know there's turtles in the lake next to me. So there you go.
I feel like any lake could be a turtle lake.
True.
So yeah, you talked about like creating a vibe at your place, something that we talk a lot about for our taprooms as well. What's the most important thing that you think of when you think of Turtle Lake Brewing Company? Obviously the beer, number one, but as far as like the guest experience at your place, what do you think is the most important thing for that?
I think, atmosphere. Atmosphere. You come in, it's like, this is an atmosphere I want to be in, this somewhere I can drink, spend my money, have a good time. Atmosphere. Use that first impression. Usually that counts. If you walk in, it's like, you've been to my place, it's green, gray, and just lit, and it's okay, just chilled. Not so boom, 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 boom. Like that.
I wish we had this episode on video.
Was that boom, boom, boom? Was that a reference to the music that you? Because we did want to bring up music a little bit, obviously. Yeah. So what kind of music do you guys play at Turtle Lake?
Everything. As far as like on the playlist is Spotify. It really depends on the night and the mood. I'd like to keep it like house, reggae, hip hop, indie stuff. But every once in a while, I'll play on some heavy metal, play a lot of rock. It just depends on the mood. But, like on Fridays, I have a chicken wing special event where I have DJs. So I get out some of the good DJs that are playing in Hanoi, and they play for me every Friday. And then I'm starting to incorporate more bands now. So I have live music Monday and Wednesdays. And then Saturdays, I have a band perform. So it's, once again, coming to that environment, you want to walk in and say, oh, something's happening here. This is cool. Music's cool. I want to stay. So it's about the atmosphere.
The music comes up quite a bit. I'm sure it'll be a recurring theme on a lot of our episodes. It's such a big part of being in like a restaurant and, setting the atmosphere for it. And I think it's very clear to me that you have a really deep understanding of this at some level, because you said something that I just picked up on was that you are just trying to fit the energy of whoever's there, and that you will adapt and change to whatever you think people are enjoying at the time. And that it's not necessarily the music you want to play. You're just trying to look at your guest and say, hey, I think this is going to help provide the experience they need right now. And
oh, man. I've changed my Spotify playlist a few times. Okay. I'll let it play. This is what they want. But yeah, overall, nice atmosphere. And then on top of that, service, food, and, they're all hand in hand. But it's that first impression thing sometimes is what you get you.
We'll be right back.
Join pilot and adventurer Fernando Pino as he takes you on journeys to discover exciting destinations across the UK and Europe. You'll fly with him to hidden gems and experience local culture, from bustling streets to serene hideaways and the best places to eat, sleep, and play. Travel Plans is more than a podcast. It's your ticket to exploring the world and its history with a friend. In this episode, we are flying to discover a beachside paradise perfect for the whole family. Discover golden sands, activities galore, and even free childcare so you get your own break too. Why am I still here?
Yeah, you mentioned like you guys do a lot of events. Obviously, Alex and I have noticed that as well. Going up there, it's a really event-driven location. Is that because those are like good revenue drivers, or are you just trying to like do something fun for the community, or is it important to like keep those certain events consistent from week to week so that people know what they like? Oh, it's Friday night. I'm going for wings.
All of this above.
Sorry, that was a lot of questions.
That was a lot of questions. But the answer, all the above. Yeah, I like events. I'm an event space. I have a good space for it. And I'm also community based. I work within the community as best as possible. So people want to obviously do things at my place because Turtle Lake is considered to be a safe space. And so there's been a lot of issues in the past with, some women and things like that. And then obviously we just want Turtle Lake to become a safe space for people to come feel comfortable and invited in, that no matter what you are, look like, whatever, you're welcomed to come to Turtle Lake. So I try to create that atmosphere once again. And therefore I get the events like the wrestling, the drag brunches, Christmas markets, beer festivals. So I tether on all different types of events. That's what I like. I like entertaining. I like hosting. So that's why maybe the place is easy to come to, because everyone's welcome. And I think that's why I'm pretty fortunate about getting the events.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, it's about inclusivity and making everyone feel welcome when they come in. That's awesome.
So about some specific events, is there anything that you might want to share about running a craft beer festival?
I mean, in the beginning, it was a lot of work, but I think after a while, once you get the routine through, and I'm not a big venue, I'm not like, what's the ABC in California? What's the Great American, what's the big one in the States? What's the biggest beer festival?
The Great American Beer Festival, yeah.
On that scale, yeah, that's a shitload of work, you know what I mean? That's a lot of logistics. Mine's a little bit smaller, so it's fun. The brewers, fortunately, the brewers all are receptive to what's happening, and they're easy to get along with.
Are they, though?
Anyway, moving on. Where I'm from, up north, it works well. You know what I mean? And everyone's cool, collaborative, and so the beer fest's easy. Everyone gets their stuff in there. For me, the biggest obstacle, obviously, is getting people in the door and the weather. I think the weather is my biggest. For the last 3 beer festivals, rain every time. So you know how that is. But it's fun to organize the beer festival. It's really fun. If I could do it bigger, I would.
Which brewery is the hardest to deal with?
Pasture. Dude named Mischa, man. This is fucking all over the place, man.
That's what we go for. Like, just make a mark, you know?
He
You got to stand out.
He keeps getting God water and all this. And Dan!
Guess sounds like a real jerk.
But no, it's cool. It's fun. I mean, it's fun to work next to Mischa and the other guys and beer festivals and just talk the shit. Everyone gets drunker and happier, festive as the hours get later. No, it's a good experience, when everyone's happy with each other.
For sure. So we talked about inclusivity and making everyone feel welcome. Is there a limit to that? Is there anyone that you wouldn't want at your...
Can I share a story?
100%.
Oh, you're going to love this.
This is This is a brand new segment to the podcast. It's called Story Time with Lamont.
Yeah.
You even did your own music.
So this could be embarrassing for me, but I'm going to say it anyway. So we just had an event 2 weeks ago. We had a drag bingo. Had a comedian come on stage that said that he was a drag queen comedian. That didn't happen. So he flew up. Yeah, he's from Saigon. So he came up and did his performance, which was horrible. And then he proceeded to get really weird and drunk and flopping around like a elephant with his head chopped off. I don't know what you call it. And then he got really weird with my guest at the table. I started crying.
Emotional.
This is disturbing my guests. I'm like, could you please? So the people who were always like, hey, this guy's kind of weird. And so I'm like, sir, could you, what's wrong? Leave me alone. So it's like, but, you kind of disturbed my guest. Leave me alone. So I left him alone, got him some water, and then he's still acting weird. And then some customers started talking to him, calmed him down. And then he was still acting a little weird, but then he got up, started dancing again. I think he was on drugs, but then actually, no, he sits back down. This is what happens right here. Pulls down his pants, whips out his dick, and pisses right on my terrace. How about that? I'm like, dude, and I walk up to dude like, dude, what the fuck? Put that shit away. And he's like, leave me alone. It's okay.
Leave me alone. You're pissing on my
fucking pissing
patio.
Yes. And there's video.
I'm really sorry. I was out of it that day.
I'm sorry, man. Banned. Other cool events I'm doing. I opened a haunted house. I'm building a haunted house.
Yes. Do you do that every year?
This is my second one, but I would like to think I'm the only haunted house in maybe Hanoi or Vietnam. Is there one here?
I can't think of one off the top of my head.
I'm building a haunted house.
I definitely can't think of a haunted brewery.
Haunted beers.
Why a haunted house?
Why a haunted house?
Yeah, why is this the thing? Like, it could be a big Thanksgiving dinner, or it could be like a Santa Claus. You come sit on the lap. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Do that too.
Bobbing for apples.
You put apples on a string now. It's not hygienic anymore.
Right.
You got to be PC now.
I just think that's really cool. Like, I'm actually talking with my wife, and we're going to fly up to Hanoi just to go to a haunted house. Because that's something that I love doing as a kid. She loved doing as a kid, and literally worth making a trip to a whole different city so that like we could do that as a family and have a cool experience. They're fun. I love haunted houses.
So my reason for it, I have the space, and why the fuck not? It's my fucking business now. I can do what I want. I'm a big boy now. I want a haunted house.
I love it.
So I built a fucking haunted house, dude. And it was really cool. The first one we did in 2020, right during the pandemic. You like that?
Pandemic.
And it was successful. We had 5 rooms, and we did a fair amount of people through. And then I couldn't do anything yet, obviously, during the COVID situation. So now that we're back open, I'm building a haunted house, and I have a good team with me. It takes about a month to build out, and I scare the shit out of you.
I love that. It sounds like it's the inner like 10-year-old coming out. What are you gonna do when you grow up? I'm gonna have my own haunted house. It's gonna have all this beer everywhere. It's going to be awesome.
Drunk people going through it. Yeah, it's great. What could go wrong? So, yeah.
That's how Alex runs the business as well. Why the fuck not? I'm a big boy. I can do what I want.
Do what I want. But no, I think that's the fun of it, when you're able to have the space to do it, something like this. And also, yeah, it's a haunted house because it's cool, but also it's good marketing. Just bringing people to my restaurant who's never been before.
Yeah, it just seems very maybe authentic. If you're doing a haunted house, it's like, probably not like the idea didn't originate from this is going to be the next thing that is the most profitable revenue driver for our company. Probably started off with this is going to be something really fun to do. And that's where it starts, like doing something fun. And then you start working in, okay, are we going to lose a bunch of money, or is it a marketing opportunity? But it seems like it started from this would just be really fucking cool to try.
Yeah, it's really cool to try. And also, the first one I went wild on my budget, but this one I'm a little more controlled, So, but it's marketing. Maybe it's not gonna be profitable. Maybe you'll just make your money back recover. But like I say, the value that you give the people who have never been to your place that will come back now is worth it in a golden sense, And it also gives you a good reputation because they're going to drink when they go down there because they're waiting. So you might get a couple of revenue sales from downstairs. The haunted house itself might not be profitable, but the experience and overall that people come back, that's what you're looking for.
What are your thoughts on kids being at bars, breweries?
Once again, I'm a community space. I'm family friendly. I don't mind it, but I think maybe after 9, 10, maybe you could kind of like, okay, let's keep this more adult friendly because I've known a lot of teachers who don't want to come to my place because they don't want to see their parents or their students while they're drinking off the work, kind of want to distance themselves. So they're like, no, I can't really go to your place because I might bump into a parent. And so this is something to deal with. But, parents come, they spend money, they spend a lot of money, and then you got to find a balance between the two.
I've always noticed, like being a father, that, there's certain bars that it just wouldn't even cross my mind to go to with my daughter. But almost any like craft beer bar or brewery is usually on the list of, this wouldn't be a problem. Like the energy inside like a craft beer place, it's not super aggressive. It's like more chilled out and, like you said, family friendly. But I didn't know if you had seen anything like that with like craft beer specifically being like a family type drinking experience, almost like the parents want to go there and it's not so crazy that you feel comfortable to take a kid.
Their kids are behaved. Some parents have some bad kids. You're like, dude, you need to calm your shit down. Some parents recognize it and they calm their kids down, but other parents is like, dude, I'm going to get drunk because this fucker's like crazy. And I'm going to let him run around and cause havoc. But it's a balance, you know what I mean? I'm not going to say only for adults and not for families because the revenue for both is what you want. You want a place for people to come.
I always go back and forth on it. It's like,
yeah, I do too.
Yeah, it's like an awesome spot. It's just like another restaurant. It's a great place to go hang out. But then there's 7. Should they be around a bunch of beer? I don't know. Like
from some of the events that we host now, we're trying to make it an age appropriate thing. So like drag brunches now are no longer for kids. It was not family friendly anymore. The wrestling that we do won't be family friendly. So
sorry to break the rules a month ago.
I'll just go do.
Yeah, but my daughter,
VIP. Alex is in the house,
My daughter really enjoyed it though. She thought it was awesome.
My daughter goes all the time too, It's just, but it's just more for the queens and maybe the guests who feel uncomfortable with the kid running around, even though the kid might be cool as shit.
Yeah, I think you made a good point about it. It's really up to the parents to make sure that, the kids are old enough to behave. We've got, in some of our tap rooms, we've got shuffleboard tables, foosball, the big blocks of Jenga. Like when these kids are smashing big wooden Jenga blocks into the shuffleboard table and their parents are like just watching them do it. And it's, hey, no, that's not acceptable behavior anywhere. Please, and you're not going to yell at the kid because they don't know. They're just
sometimes
running. Sometimes they're being assholes. But no, yeah, it's like we got this nice new pool table at the place and then this woman had her young baby walking all over it in her muddy shoes. And just, what world is that appropriate?
How about this one? How do you deal with this one? The local family comes in with their son or daughter and gives them beer.
Absolutely not. We're very strict about that. You got to be 18 to drink. So that's something that just from a moral standpoint as well as a legal and governance standpoint, you just don't break rules like that.
Do you see that a lot?
Not often, but I've seen it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I can't recall ever seeing it at any of our tap rooms, but I'm sure it's.
But I know, in Europe, in some places, 15 or 16 is a drinking age, and I don't feel the need to get in the middle of that. We're just going to obey the law.
Yeah, I do the law, but you see it because they're like, oh, it's okay. I'm like, no, it's not okay.
No, if they're young, 15, 16, it's that at that point it's up to the parents to know their children, what they can handle, but. and obviously they shouldn't be sitting around getting smashed. But yeah, when you see young kids and the parents are like, it's like, no, we got to put a stop to this.
I can definitely say when I was like 16, it was like, there's going to be a party. Let's go get some beer. Craft beer never once popped into my head. It was just
the Beast,
Natural Light,
Natty Ice,
Mike's Hard Lemonade.
Those are the cheapest and tasted close enough to
Cisco.
water.
Here you go. Interesting fact.
We're just gonna name all the shitty beers and alcohol that we used to
Mickey's.
drink.
Was it Mickey's?
Like the little bottles.
Oh, yeah. Mickey's is awesome. My go-to in that realm though would be St. Ides.
St. Ides. I have an interesting fact. I didn't drink beer until I was 23. And that all changed when I moved to Denmark.
Like you never tried a beer, or you
I
weren't
tried
really
beer,
a
but
beer
I didn't really drink. I bought my first bottle. I got denied my first bottle one day before my birthday at a liquor store. It ruined me forever. And then
It's in America? It's 21, yeah,
21.
for the whole country.
So I went the day before my birthday, like, dude, it's like 6 more hours my birthday. Guys, come back tomorrow. Like, you're a dick. And then I went back the next day, we had a bottle. The friends I'm with, his brother fucking smashed his foot and had to go to the hospital, so I didn't get to drink. And so I really gave up on drinking. Then I moved to Denmark, and then the Danes are like, you don't drink? I'm like, no, that'll change. And then beer became opened up to me. Drinking, Tuborg, Elephant Beer, Carlsberg, and all that shit. Not shit, beer. Sorry.
As of now, what would be your favorite beer to drink these days? If you had to pick a beer, this is your beer.
That Pasture Double IPA.
It's on the way. And then on top of that, what album are you going to be listening to while you drink this beer?
Oh shit, Nirvana. No, I don't have a favorite beer per se. I'm not even say even for my own beers. I really enjoyed Drake's. We did the beer review on it. The party block.
Block Party.
I really enjoyed that one. That was really good. And I like beer. People ask me what's my favorite musician. I can't say. I like music. I'm not gonna give it one specific. I can't.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I'm a big movie guy.
Yeah.
What's your favorite movie? Like, I'll give you my top 5. And even that's tough.
That's tough for me. So I don't really like to be too specific on, what I would do. Music I play, I don't know. Depends on, once again, the mood. Yeah. But usually, if you hit play on my headphones now, probably be some deep house, probably. Probably listen to our disco. Because I like disco. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
House Pasture?
Please do.
House Pasture?
It's going great, man.
Is it? You open a location?
Yeah, just opened one here in Saigon. We actually tried to open one in Hanoi, and then we ran into probably some of the stuff you were talking about where we thought we had like an agreement and then it just fell apart. So that was, disappointing, but yeah, still growing. We were, making it through because it's tough having restaurants and breweries, and you can't sell beer or operate a restaurant for months at a time. But yeah, back out of it and as busy as ever. So it's fun to get back in this mindset. I can see it on like everybody in the team's faces. It's, hey, we're growing. We're back to what we're used to doing, like providing awesome experiences, introducing more people to craft beer, expanding your business. And man, that's just a lot more fun than COVID times where you're just like, is there any cost that I can cut to make sure we stay alive for the next month or two? So yeah, I guess sucks we had to go through it, but definitely feel stronger on the other side. Almost all of our team was able to stay through COVID. So I think that was really cool. It made it easy to get started again. As we were opening up, it was like the same team. So we all knew what was up.
Question, is it better to distribute or open multiple tap rooms?
I think both are really important, and I think they feed into each other. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, no, people come however you experience our beer for the first time, whether it's at one of our tap rooms or at, another bar or restaurant that sells our beer. You have that experience for the first time. And if you like it, which most people do, then they want to seek it out. So if you have Jasmine IPA for the first time at the hotel that you're staying at, in the hotel bar, yeah, you're like, oh, what's this? I've never heard of it. It's my first time in Vietnam. Where's the brewery? There's information on our cans that you can help go to our website and find our tap rooms. And then, boom, you come in, you got 11 other new beers of ours to try. And alternatively, if your first experience is at one of our tap rooms, you're like, oh, I love this beer. And then as you're spending the rest of your vacation, or if you live here, you're going around, you're saying, oh, I know that beer. I tried it at their place. So for sure, for us, we've always felt that, tap rooms are more lucrative, because the fewer buffers you have between your beer and your clients, the more money you're going to make off it. but also, having distribution, having a wide range, having our logo up around the country, people seeing our brand, it's massively important to getting.
So what are your values? You asked me the question, what do you want from the customer when they come to Pasture? I'm going to throw it back at you.
We actually, when we were getting started, we never planned on having a tap room. We were just going to have it, our original spot on Pasteur Street was going to be our office. And then we were going to build it out like a full craft beer, like American craft beer experience, and invite managers of restaurants or hotels out to drink the beer in that environment and really explain hands-on, like why would you want to pay this much for a beer? And let them see the quality ingredients and how much work goes into making these recipes. And we thought that was going to be needed because there wasn't a story behind it. Like it just, craft beer really didn't exist in any like meaningful way, I think, in Vietnam at that time. So we knew we had to tell the story of craft beer. And then it was about a month before we were opening that we just started seeing all this interest from consumers, like directly, hey, can I come in and try the beer? So we were just like, man, actually, instead of having this big marketing budget that we were planning on, why not have tap rooms that really convey your whole brand experience and that your servers can know about the brewing process and answer questions about these beers and explain why we love them so much. Whereas if we're, just selling our beer on tap at all these different restaurants, you have a lot less control about like how that beer might be presented. And we thought with it being such a new segment, I would say just pretty much non-existent in Vietnam, that we knew that was going to be something really important to get the message across that we wanted to about why we love craft beer. From there, like restaurants, like they have a revenue generation side, but for us, it's always been about more of a marketing side, like just having this awesome experience. And then it's really cool to see other restaurants maybe even pick up on that. And they're like, yeah, we don't want just one beer on tap. We're going to build our own walk-in cooler and have 12 beers on tap because I can see that customers like this wider selection of beers and some flavor differentiation inside that. So I think for us, they make money, but it's really more about marketing and trying to expose more people to craft beer in a really cool setting. I mean, that was literally what we were saying when we were building it out as the tap room. Like, what is the goal if you can sum it up in one sentence? And we had just got here from Colorado, and it was like, you should be able to pick this up and place it on Pearl Street in Boulder, Colorado. And the atmosphere, the service, the beer quality would be to the point where it would just be successful in a really big craft beer city, and to not cut any corners and just do the best version of craft beer that you think you could.
The third question one more time back to you. So are you consider yourself an American style type of business brewery?
We've always... we started the company here. It wasn't that we were making these beers in the States and moved it over here. We're very proud to be Vietnamese. Obviously, we not to get too much into the sales part, but you asked the question. Yeah, no, of course. We put local ingredients into all of our beers. Like, we wanted to root the beer here in Vietnam. That was always John and Alex's vision and goal from the start, was that we're not an American brewery in Vietnam. We're a Vietnamese brewery that uses, American styles and American techniques, but also it's very Vietnamese beer. We couldn't make this beer anywhere else. It would be different if we made it somewhere else. And that was always really important to us. And, I think a lot of our Vietnamese customers especially really appreciate that part of it.
You think the local Vietnamese breweries are adapting?
I think that's actually one of the single biggest things that gives me confidence for the success of craft beer in Vietnam moving forward, is seeing these passionate local folks that are discovering these beer flavors, and they could pick any job. They're like, I could go to be an engineer, I could work for my family company, I could be a teacher, whatever. And they're like, you know what? My passion is beer, and I want to start a craft brewery. And they are pouring their probably savings, all of their time and energy into that. And when that happens, they're going to spread the word to their friends and their family and their customers about how cool this craft beer thing is. And I think anybody who's in craft beer knows that you don't just pick one beer from one brewery and that's all I drink. You like to explore the different flavors, try beers from different places, and I think it's just something that's going to bring people into the wider community of craft beer. And as long as we just keep that positive, That's always going to be something that somebody likes hanging out. Like you go into this one brewery and see some people, and then you go into this other craft brewery, you're seeing a lot of familiar faces, people into the same sort of, experience and flavors and what they're drinking, and want a story behind it and some authenticity. And yeah, but I think it is really cool seeing local people just be like, having a craft brewery is an option. That's an idea. And I think that for me is a very strong signal that this is something people want and want more of.
Yeah, I think you guys in the South are definitely your clientele down here are a little more ambitious for craft beer. Whereas Hanoi is a little more of a struggle. You guys are trying to get that local community to accept craft beer, but I think there's some pioneers in Hanoi that are doing it and spreading the word, but it's still a struggle.
We almost started in Hanoi.
I remember you guys were the first craft beer I tried. You did a festival with Tanya way back in the day when she was doing beer festivals, and I saw you guys like.
We actually thought Hanoi would be better than Saigon to start the company because.
Aren't you glad? I'm happy you guys are down there.
I sure am.
What we saw was that at the time there was a really vibrant drinking culture in Saigon, but it was very loud, like you said, boom, 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 like this big club and crazy environment, and we didn't know how craft beer might fit into that. But when we went to Hanoi, there was these little coffee shop down this little alley where people were having conversations, and it seemed like a deep appreciation for this product quality and the authenticity and the story behind it. And we thought that people up there would be, it'd be an easier sell to be like, this type of beer is what you might want to drink. But then we started off in Saigon just because we had more of a network here. We knew more bar and restaurant people that would be interested in carrying it. And John, he knew Saigon a lot better than Hanoi. So we actually just chose Saigon because we had more of a network, I guess.
I remember there were 3 gentlemen at my bar, and we were trying to tell them what craft beer was like. Why would I want to drink a beer that's made in Vietnam? And they're like, for me, an export or import beer would be like Chimay, Stella Artois, Leffe, all this. And we're trying to tell them this is good beer. And they're like, oh, I don't know about that. Or why, it's made in Vietnam, it's going to be shit. And so we had to go through this whole spiel and try to tell them this is why it makes craft beer so special. And they got it, and they got drunk, and they had their shirts up and had a good old time afterwards.
No, we thought about that too, though. And we actually looked to another company that was doing that sort of thing, Maru Chocolate. And that was, I think, cool for me because that was one of our ideas starting up, is that we wanted to have something that you could be really proud of. Being from Vietnam, knowing that our craft beer is world class, and that's why we always try and enter our beers in foreign beer competitions.
Did you guys enter?
And export around? Yeah, we try and participate in quite a few. And
for Seabrew, you mean?
Yeah,
Asia Beer Championships. Yeah, we got our entries in eventually.
How many did you guys do? How many did you put in?
I can't remember. It's 10ish maybe.
They can't tell me.
About 10.
That's fair. I did 6.
What I always say about competitions, too, though, is you got to participate in the ones that are doing an honest competition, that are really bringing the craft beer community together. And then it's your responsibility to participate. And, if you win a medal, you should be really proud about winning a medal. And that's something that,
Not too
you
easy
should
to
celebrate. But if you don't win a medal, also, there's lots of great beers that don't win medals. So I try and to say the participation is fun, and that's great if you win. But making sure that brewers participate in these things that bring everybody together and you see each other as real people, not like these competing businesses. I think that attitude just bleeds out to customers who are maybe they work for a tire factory, and if they got caught hanging out with the dudes from the other tire factory, it would be
Firestone.
Yeah, you're out, man. You don't hang out with the competition. And I think
bad.
In the U.S. at least, I'm not so sure it's seen here, but in the U.S. at least, customers picked up on that. And they were just dude, I want to start my own brewery. You get to actually be friends with your competitors.
So what do you tell them? I want to start my own brewery. What do you tell them?
If someone comes to us and is I want to start my own brewery, what kind of advice would you give? I think we should go around the room and answer that. I'll go first. Don't do it.
Have a good lawyer and accountant.
I told them the market's already saturated and it won't work.
Have a good lawyer and accountant.
No, but sorry, the real answer, the honest answer is I was a bartender first, and then now I'm in sales. Yeah, so I wouldn't be able to give anybody advice about opening up a craft brewery, but I love drinking good beer. So if someone's passionate about it and they're going to be making good beer, they're going to be value add to the community, then absolutely they should go ahead with it. I'm not worried about competition. I'm encouraged when I drink awesome beers from other people, and it gives me confidence that the craft beer industry is strong and healthy and is going to be around long term. The biggest fear for me with craft beer is like people who make beers that aren't great. If people try that for the first time and they're like, "Oh, that's craft beer," it's not the greatest. So, yeah, someone wants to start a brewery and they know what they're doing and they make awesome beers. Fuck yeah, go on with it.
Anytime that I get that question, I just say, "What do you want to know?" And absolutely, and I'm happy to help in any way that I can. Like even internally, like within the company, try and ask questions. Hey, you're bartending right now. Do you know what it is that you want to do with your life? Do you have a long-term vision or goal? And it's okay if you don't, but if you do, please share it, because if like your goal is to run your own business one day, then I can start looping you in on stuff at work. So that will give you like the skills and the knowledge. Or, I've started a couple breweries and then helped consult with some other people who had started some. And like, I have lots of like documents and stuff that I can just redact some names or numbers from and just say, hey, this was a successful business plan for this type of concept, or this was, something, here's a spreadsheet that really helped me do demand planning and forecasting. Here's something on a restaurant culture side that can be really helpful, and just try and like share, but probably not if they come to me and they're just like, I'm trying to make a shit ton of money. Can you help me make this really profitable? I'm just like, I just get this impression that whatever comes out of that is probably just going to be like not great for the community. And then also like, if I'm going to share information with you, like you're going to have to pay.
My time is valuable for your shitty beer.
Yeah. Like maybe I could share, but like, at least you're going to have to pay, because I don't know. But if somebody's passionate and they want to do it, man, that's how I learned. People share with me. Like people taught me how to brew.
I think for me, as a whole, at least getting into this business new, and I could say about everyone, my experience with everyone, the breweries here in Vietnam, most of them, I feel that if I had an issue, I feel confident that I could probably talk to them and they would help me out. You know what I mean? They might not give me the exact answer completely, but they'd be willing to go out of their way a little bit to help me out, give me the answers I want. Sometimes.
Yep.
And I like that. That's cool. Everyone here is really cool. And they're all, everyone's trying to run a business, but everyone's still community based in a sense.
Yeah. So there was one time I was talking to the owner of a brewery who had their beers on at a place that I really wanted to get our beers in. And we were having trouble getting in touch with a manager or an owner there. And I knew the guy pretty well, so I just messaged him like, hey, I saw you guys are on here. Do you mind passing me a contact of someone? And he's like, sorry, Mischa, I'm not going to do that. If you need the name of a supplier, a distributor, a contact, I'm happy to share any of that. I just don't feel comfortable giving out my client's personal contact info. And I thought that was completely fair.
It's genuine.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's it. Like when someone asks me, I kind of like have to think about the person who it is, how well, like the relationship I have with the client. And I'll usually just ask them like, hey, someone from this brewery wanted to talk to you. Do you want me to put you in touch or not? And just let that guide it. For sure, it is about community, but there's also like certain boundaries that's, your job is to sell beer. Maybe you should go make a sales call and and do your job.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you all the cheat codes.
Yeah, no, I don't expect full answers, but sometimes you have questions like, hey.
Well, it's just, and that's it. Like his answer was so reasonable. There's no way I could be like, oh, come on, man. And I was just like, yeah, that's fair. I understand. He wasn't upset that I asked, and I certainly wasn't upset that he said no. It was a reasonable conversation between two adults, which is the way it should be.
It doesn't always happen.
Doesn't.
Well, no, you're in the tougher side of it too, because like brewers always get along.
I'm glad it's recorded.
Come on, like guys that brew beer, like at the brewery where you're battling the tanks and the yeast and like making sure the quality is on point. You can always get along. It's sales side is tough though.
Alex, I would agree that brewers get along more and easier with each other than sales guys would. Mostly. But what did you say exactly? What was the quote? All brewers get along?
From what I see, I guess like anybody like could be just a dick.
Yeah.
But it's not because they're like pitted against each other with their jobs. It's like, this guy's just gonna be a dick anyways.
No, 100%. And that's an observation that I made. There was someone here like years ago who was giving an interview, and the interviewer asked him which hops were in his IPA, and he made some crack about, I'd sooner show you a picture of my wife than tell you my hop recipe. But then when I've gone to these international beer events, most of the brewers I meet, they're like, hey, how did you do that? That's really cool. I love that beer. And they're very open and honest. These are guys with way more experience, way more talent, because they're secure. They don't mind sharing, because they like, not only don't they mind sharing, they want to share, because someone else is giving them a compliment of the beer. Like, well, how'd you do that? I don't know how to do that. How did you do it? It's like, oh, dude, it was awesome. I did this and this and this. And, you're showing off a little bit, but also you're just proud of your work and what you've done. And we've talked about it before. Like, some breweries share their recipes online on the internet. Anybody can do it. And I feel like that's the right attitude. Like, if someone else makes a Jasmine IPA and they think they can do it better than us, take a crack, man. Go at it. Like, that's our best-selling beer.
Next week.
Yeah. Turtle Lake Jasmine IPA launching this weekend.
If somebody is making a better Jasmine IPA than we are, the last thing that I'm going to be thinking is like, what the fuck? Screw this guy. It's going to be like, why can't you do better? Why are you not able to make a better Jasmine IPA? It's more of an internal challenge thing. It's not like you can't grow something by just trying to keep other people down, withholding information, keeping trade secrets, make it harder for other craft brewers to operate. If you make it easy and you share everything, there's going to be more craft breweries. They're going to have better tasting beer. And that's kind of the goal at the end of the day. When you're this tiny fraction of the beer market, your goal is to make that tiny fraction just a little bit bigger. It's not to like steal customers back and forth from, other places. It's like that. It's like, sounds exhausting and probably really expensive and just not really helpful for anyone. And it seems, maybe there's a point like 30, 50 years in the future where just like craft beer is the mainstream beer, and then it starts getting like that. But man, I just think there's way more opportunity in sharing what we do with people that don't know about it.
Lamont, did you answer the question about?
I want to say
about what advice would you give to someone who, if someone came to you and wanted to open a craft brewery? It was your own question.
Hey, who's asking the question? Whose podcast is this? Right? I'm the one asking the question.
It's awesome. Yeah. Like, I think we should do a beer festival, and I'm just gonna, we'll talk to the marketing team. Like, just call Lamont. He's gonna give you all the details.
Yeah.
We got this.
Word.
Well, and Lamont would say, you got to talk to my staff. I don't do any of that.
I don't do that shit, man. I'm over there drinking beer, being a host.
Speaking about staff.
Oh shit! What?
I don't think it's just the customers that go from brewery to brewery. I think it's the team. We have a lot of people that have worked for us that work for other craft breweries now. Is that the same for you?
No, not actually for us. No, actually not, surprisingly. But no, I don't. I really haven't had anyone that has worked for another, apart from my Long Island, my brewer. No.
I feel that's interesting that you mentioned that, because I feel like, and maybe this is an observation that I made years ago and I'm just like sticking with it now, even if it's not as true, but I feel like we don't have that many staff that like jump from brewery to brewery. And I know a lot of people do, like go in other tap rooms. Some kids like, we were at someone's tap room one time, again, years ago, and this kid walked by and was like, oh, he worked at that place last week, right? And yeah, no, he just started here this week. The owner was saying this. Yeah, I just hired him. It was like his first night. He'll probably be at that other place next week. Who knows? Like, that's, for some people, it's like they find an industry or a segment of an industry and then they like jump around. And, they're young kids. The grass is always greener. It's like, oh, they're going to pay me a little bit more per hour. Let me do that. And then they get there and this place sucks. Let me go find the next one. Like,
I don't see that, actually. I don't see that the grass is greener. I see it like somebody who's like a supervisor of a tap room and they're wanting to move up and grow in their career, and that we already have full staff of general managers, but this other place is needing a general manager and they can make this vertical move. And it's like, you got to support that every time.
I feel like we've gotten there as an industry. I'm talking again. I said this is an observation I made years ago. Like that, there was a lot of that early on when, it was a lot of new breweries, a lot of new tap rooms, and a lot of the younger kids were like just Their eyes were mad.
I think it's cool. I see people moving around a lot, but it's always vertical moves. It's, hey, I've been, a bartender here, and now there's an option to go to this place, but to be the manager. Or, hey, like I've been making beer for this company, and now I think I have the opportunity to start my own company. But I see a lot of that. And for me, I guess my perspective is I see it as like usually vertical moves that the company isn't able to provide. They wish they could, but it's just like you don't have the job at the time. And it's like no hard feelings. If you get an opportunity to like take a step up in your career within the same industry, I don't really fault anybody for taking that option.
Do you have a prerequisite that your staff would drink beer? Is there an image that you're looking for as for your beer tenders? And
No.
is there something that
there's no what's the word I'm looking for? No. There's no quotient, there's not a minimum amount of beers that our staff have to drink per month to qualify.
No, I'm just wondering. I have staff who don't drink beer.
Yeah.
They don't, so as a prerequisite that they have to, they drink beer, in a sense, like they are beer drinkers to work at Pasture, because obviously they're representing your brand.
No. They just have to be knowledgeable about our beer.
Yeah, but, you can be knowledgeable, but can you be passionate about it? What's more important?
I think someone can be passionate about the craft beer industry without being a beer drinker.
The industry, but your particular product, though.
I think they can be passionate about our brand without being a beer drinker. If they're proud of one of our first employees, who's now our HR manager, like obviously she's drunk beers, but she doesn't drink a lot. But I remember early days talking to her, like we both started out behind the bar. She's still one of the most passionate employees we've ever had, and not just about her work and her job, but about the brand. I remember coming back one time, or she was coming back from maternity leave, and while she was gone, it was like when East West, Heart of Darkness, Belgo, Winking Seal, when all those guys opened around the same time. And so we were just talking about all the different breweries now, and she's asking me like, oh, how are they? And, I'm like, oh, this one's good at this one's good at this, just going over it. And at the end, she just turns to me with a smile, and she's like, but we're still the best, right? And, it's because she takes pride in our company, and that's why she's amazing at her job. It's not because she drinks the most beer.
Not until quantity, just or beer drinkers in general.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But she I remember like when we were on slow shifts, she was like Googling craft beer. She wanted to just learn more and more and more and more. So she was passionate about the brand and the process and the industry without being a big drinker. No, I don't think that you have to drink a lot of beer to be good at your job working for a craft brewery. Unless you're working in sales.
I had a great response to a question like that. Like another example, I realized that my question was like just probably not very good, but it was an interview and I was like, all right, you've got a lot of experience, but you don't have experience in hospitality, right? Are you worried about that coming on? And he's like, before this, I was working in like pet food and I've never had a pet or eaten pet food. And before that, it was like tires and I've never had a car. And then, I was selling like these electrical engineering products and I'm not even a math guy, but I just kind of realized it was like connecting like the, like what the owners of the business or the vision, the values of the business were with what customers wanted and just like making that connection. And then making that connection is something that they were happy about. That was like valuable work, is like aligning people's interests that wanted to have jobs and wanted to do whatever with people that wanted to have an experience. And I was like, once again, I was like, your answer is way better than my question.
Yeah. Just similar to that, I remember we were looking for a sales guy to focus on off-trade. It's like grocery stores, supermarkets, retail chains. And this kid was recommended to me. I interviewed him. He had a ton of sales experience. He didn't know anything about craft beer. Not a thing. But his previous job was working with all of the clients that he'd be working with us. But he was selling women's cosmetics. This is a young guy, shy, quiet, like... He doesn't fucking use makeup. He doesn't know the first thing about it. Not that he doesn't know the first thing about it. He doesn't know the first thing about using it for his personal life. But I'm like, this guy's been selling ladies' cosmetics for the last 3 years. I think I can teach him how to sell beer. Like, I can teach him enough about beer that he'll be really good at that job. And he was great.
There's a lot of similarities between craft beer and ladies' makeup.
They're both beautiful.
There it is.
Well, you're shocked after it comes off.
I hope some people got that.
So, fact or fiction? Mischa, you usually introduce the segment, so I figured I would today. There we go.
Big man's doing something.
Yeah, so fact or fiction, like there's, I guess, two answers. You can say this is fact or this is fiction, but...
This is why I usually introduce it. So, Lamont...
Go ahead.
So, Lamont...
Yes.
On every pod, we like to wrap it up with a segment we call Fact or Fiction.
All right.
I'm going to hit you with a few statements, and then you can confirm whether they're fact or fiction. And if there's like a little story coming out of it, go ahead and tell it.
I'll
And
keep
if
it
you
quick.
just want to leave it to one, no, don't. If you've got something, great, hit us with it. If you want to just leave it to the one-word response, you can do that as well. Fact or fiction? Turtle Lake is the biggest craft brewery in Hanoi.
I plead the fifth.
Okay.
Right. That's a fiction.
Okay. Well, obviously, biggest can mean different things, and I was intentionally ambiguous
Okay.
just to see what you would say, but
No.
not. Okay. Fact or fiction? Your head brewer is female.
Yes, she is. Long Island. She's awesome. She is the heart of Turtle Lake. She's awesome.
She is awesome. She did a beer review.
She did a review. She did do a review. Right now she's judging in Singapore.
Oh, that's awesome. We didn't get invited to Singapore.
No, I know, right? Should we talk to Charles about that? It's like,
Fact or fiction? Turtle Lake's Taproom will have a new home in the near future.
yeah, but not by choice, really. But
Right.
shit's happening. But hopefully not. But yeah, but inevitably, yes. I would like to have a second tap.
Oh, is it still up in the air that you get? Like, there's some construction bullshit. That's
like we say,
Okay.
politics.
yeah. Okay. You don't have to elaborate more than that. Fact or fiction? You feel like a black Joe Rogan right now.
Oh shit! I thought it was Donald Trump. But
Moving on. Lamont, fact or fiction? American craft beer is the best craft beer.
bullshit. Americans make really
Okay.
great beers. I think great beer could be everywhere. I wouldn't say anyone's particularly to say it's the best here. I guess that being PC.
No, I think you're being
But
honest.
I'm not shitting on American brewers. American
No, of
does
course
make
not.
great beers, but I like Belgian beers. I like, beers from all around the world, so I'm not gonna say America's the best.
Awesome.
Uh,
No, I appreciate meeting an American with a little bit of humility.
Make America great again.
Fact or fiction? You enjoy cooking food more than brewing beer.
That would have to be a fact because I'm not a brewer per se. So
Yeah, Alex wrote that one. Are you under the impression that Lamont's a brewer?
I've done my share of cleaning from the brewery.
You started a brewery and you were home brewing.
No. I'll be very honest with you. No, I'm not a brewer.
Oh, wow. I thought you had
I
brewed.
am. I have plans and I have worked in the brewery. Yes, I do know the process. I do know how to put one together. I have a little experience, but I'm not a brewer per se. But I do understand the aspects of how beer is made. I can give a beer tour. I do understand the process.
I love learning something new. I'd always assumed that you had brewed beer at
As
some
a
point.
black man trying to get my hustle on, man.
Fair enough.
Respect the hustle. All right, fact or fiction? An actual turtle lives on the bar at your taproom, and her name is Glenda.
Fuck no. You good witch or a bad witch? No. It's what's the names are they? Oh shit, they do have names. My daughter named them.
Oh, nice. Fiction is good. You can just say.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was that was fiction.
Lamont, fact or fiction? Southern Playalistic Cadillac Music is the best Outcast album.
Word.
Word.
From ATL, absolutely.
Love it. Fact or fiction? Brewers always show up sober and on time to beer festivals.
Plead the fifth.
I can confirm that is fiction. I show up on time for beer festivals. Sober is a lot to ask. Last one, fact or fiction? The Claremont Lounge is the best bar in Atlanta.
Oh, word. Yeah, absolutely. How do you know about the Claremont? Did they tell you?
I went to Atlanta last year.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
Not last year,
Oh,
sorry,
you had
like
fun?
3 years ago.
It's fun,
I had a
isn't it?
great time.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. I actually got me a Claremont t-shirt on this last trip.
Yeah.
For those who know will know. But if you
Yeah.
don't know, the Claremont, the CD, can I tell the story a little bit?
100%.
Wait. Do you have a favorite performer?
Blondie?
Okay, Little Bo Peep.
Pete, I don't know Pete.
Little Bo Peep.
Little Pete.
This was like 9 years
years
ago. She might not be there anymore.
I remember Blondie.
Okay.
So Claremont's this little CD bar on Ponce, Atlanta.
Bar.
Well, no, it's a hotel. Well, actually, it's a hotel, and the hotel has a history of just sketchiness and stories.
Yeah.
And at the basement of this hotel is a strip club, and these are more mature women.
Yeah. Yep.
When I say that, the creme of the creme of classiness. And
They're not like the up and coming.
yeah, not those other like hoes that you get down the street. Talking shit now. But anyway, it's a fun place to go. This is a dive strip bar. But anyway, there's a DJ and his name is Romeo Cologne.
Mm-hmm.
And his friend Quasi, I forget what Quasi's DJ name is. And they do disco nights there at the bottom of the Star Bar, of the Claremont Lounge. So you got this mixed crowd of just people listening to disco, and strippers on the other side just dance around the pole, and it's just a good fiasco of funness.
I really enjoy waiting in line to get in. That's always a blast.
I remember right now. Yeah, Claremont's cool, man. Yeah, Claremont's cool. I actually bought a shirt.
Nice.
I'm going to wear it. I didn't want to bring it down because I should have brought it down.
Represent.
But I don't know if anyone's going to know, but now that you called me out on it, you've been, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So shit, I saw Dave a lot when I was there over in June.
Yeah, Dave was here when I was there, but
Yeah. No, it's cool that you know the Claremont. All right, weird. I'll wear it next time. Yeah, so yeah, I'm from Atlanta. I guess that's the question. Was that the question?
no, fact or fiction, the Claremont Lounge is the best bar in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
For sure. MJQ. There's a couple. But yeah, that's my Atlanta story.
Love it. Lamont, is there anything you want to... Obviously, we know we can find you at Turtle Lake Brewing Company up in Hanoi. Is there anything else you want to shout out, give a plug to before we get going?
No, I would say thank you for you guys for giving me the opportunity to talk some shit with you. And it's fun. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. What's up to everybody in the beer brewing community? Peace out.
Awesome. Thanks to our producer, Neil. Our theme music, again, was by Lewis Wright. Thank you, as always, to my co-host, Alex Violet. And thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mischa.
And obviously, thank you, Lamont, for
Thank you
coming
both
on.
you guys. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Mischa. Appreciate it really sincerely. Thank you.
That was Beer Stories.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're like me, you may use your laptop at places where you have to use public Wi-Fi. This opens you up to digital snoopers. It's a massive problem. It can be your internet service provider, or you know who, looking at what you do online, or a cyber criminal trying to steal your bank passwords or credit card info, or even a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. These days, it is vital that you keep your data safe. NordVPN keeps all of these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites that are phishing for your data, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. And it's easy to use, even I could use it. I've actually been using NordVPN for years now here in Vietnam, and I'm excited to be an affiliate partner with them. I've used NordVPN to watch Netflix, BBC, Disney Plus with ease, and I also know that my information and data are safe from prying eyes, whoever they may be. Join now and you'll get 68% off and 3 months free when you go to my link, nordvpn.com/SMB. Just again, for those hard of hearing, nordvpn.com/SMB. The link is also in the show notes. I know nobody checks them out, but go check that out and you can get the link from wherever you're listening to this podcast. As an affiliate partner, it also means that I will get a small commission when you sign up, but at no extra cost to you. So not only will you be getting a great deal through 7 Million Bikes, you get a great VPN and you'll be supporting 7 Million Bikes podcast. Stay safe online and enjoy the shows you love. Any questions, just let me know. You know how to get in touch with me. And thanks for listening to this show. Cheers.